Hello everyone, welcome to today's lecture on Diffie-Hellman Key Exchange algorithm and man-in-middle attack. So in this session we will understand how two users can securely generate a shared secret key over an insecure network like the internet. We will also learn how attackers can exploit weaknesses in this algorithm and how to prevent such attacks. So in today's session, we will first understand why key exchange is required in cryptography. Then we will study the Diffie-Hellman key exchange algorithm in detail with a numerical example step by step. After that, we will understand the mathematical logic behind it. Next, we will discuss the man-in-middle attack, how attackers exploit the weaknesses of Diffie-Hellman. Finally, we will see how to prevent such attacks and where this algorithm is used in the real life applications. So, before understanding Diffie-Hellman, let us first understand the problem. So, in symmetric encryption, both sender and receiver must use the same secret key. But how do they share the secret key securely? So, if they send the key directly over the internet, an attacker can intercept it. So we need a method that allows two parties to generate a shared secret without directly sending it. So this problem is solved in 1976 by the two researchers. So the Diffie-Hellman algorithm was introduced in 1976 by the Whitfield Diffie and Martin Hellman, and it was first publicly known key exchange method and become the foundation of modern key cryptography. And this invention completely changed the world of secure communication. So next, what is Diffie-Hellman? So Diffie-Hellman is a key exchange algorithm. So it does not encrypt message directly, but it allows two parties to generate a shared secret key over the insecure channel. The security of this algorithm is based on a mathematical problem called the discrete logarithmic problem, which is computationally very hard to solve. So first, a large number P is chosen, that is a public. Second, a primitive root G is selected. These two values are public. Everybody can know them now. Now the allies select a private key A. Bob selects a private key B. And these two private keys are never shared with anyone. So, and on the basis of these values P, G, A and B, the public key of allies is generated, that is denoted by capital A, and the public key of Bob is generated, that is denoted by the capital B. Let us take a small example of understanding this. So suppose there are two users, Bob and allies, and both are agree publicly on P equals to 23, that is a one prime number, and G equal to 11, that is a generator. Okay. So now the allies chooses his or her public key. For example, the allies chooses a random secret number, that is A equal to 6, and the Bob chooses a secret random number B equal to 5. Okay. Now these private keys are remain secret. Now the allies calculates her public key using the formula, that is capital A equal to G raised to A mod P. Now the A is A equal to G equals to 11. So 11 raised to 6 mod 23, and the value gets is 9. Similarly, the Bob also computed his or her public key, using the formula b equal to g raised to small b mod p, and it gets the value 5. Now Alice share his or her public key to Bob, and also the Bob share his or her public key to Alice. Now Alice receive b equal to 5 from Bob, and Bob receives a equal to 9 from the Alice. On the basis of this public key, both are going to create his or her secret key. So the formula for secret key for Alice is k equal to b raised to a mod p, and the formula for the Bob secret key is k equal to a raised to b mod p. Now you can see both after calculation, both receive the same secret key 8. That is the common secret key between Alice and Bob. So in this way, both independently generate the same secret key 8, and this shared secret key can now be used for the symmetric encryption. Now let's understand why it is secure. So an attacker can see P, A, G and B, but the attacker does not knows the private key, that is a small a and small b. So to find the secret key, the attacker must solve the discrete logarithmic problem, and which is computationally very difficult for the large prime number, and that is why the Diffie-Hellman is considered the secure. Okay, now let's discuss the limitations. So although the Diffie-Hellman is a secure mathematically, but it has one major weaknesses, that is it does not verify the identity of the communicating parties, and because of this it is vulnerable to the man-in-middle attack. So let's understand what is man-in-middle attack. So in a man-in-middle attack, an attacker secretly sits between the Alice and Bob, and instead of directly communicating, the attacker intercepts and modifies the messages. Now the Alice thinks she is communicating with Bob, and Bob thinks he is communicating with Alice, but actually both are communicating with the attacker. So in this way the man-in-middle attack is performed. So let us understand this step by step. So you can see also in the figure that Alice sends her public key A to Bob, and the attacker, that is Darth, intercept it. The attacker sent his own fake public key to the Bob. Similarly, the Bob sends his public key B to attacker B, and the attacker intercepts it and sends its own fake key to the Alice. Now the Alice shares a shared secret key with the attacker. Bob shares a different secret key with the attacker. The attacker can decrypt messages, read them, modify them and send them forward. Neither Alice nor Bob knows about it. So in this way a person Darth, that is a man-in-middle between Alice and Bob, performs the man-in-middle attack in Diffie-Hellman algorithm. Now how to prevent this attack? So to prevent this man-in-middle attacks, we use the authentication mechanisms like digital signatures, public key certificates, SSL and TLS protocols, authentication in the Diffie-Hellman key exchange algorithm. For example, the HTTPS website used the authenticated key exchange to prevent such attacks, and use the digital signature to verify the identity of the server. Now, Diffie-Hellman is widely used in secure web communications like HTTPS, VPN communication, SSS protocol, secure messaging applications, and it is one of the building blocks of the internet security. Now let's summarize. So Diffie-Hellman allows two parties to generate a shared secret key. It is based on the discrete logarithmic problem. Private keys are never shared, and however it is vulnerable to the man-in-middle attacks. But if authentication is used, it is very secure, and therefore in the real systems, Diffie-Hellman is combined with the digital signatures and the authentication methods. So I hope you now clearly understand the Diffie-Hellman key exchange algorithm and the man-in-middle attack. So if you found this video helpful, please like, share and subscribe for the more cybersecurity content. And thank you for watching. See you in the next lecture. Thank you.